The ocean. We know it's there, but we don't really know what goes on underneath it. After all, 95% of the ocean remains unexplored. There's actually been some incredibly scary sightings of real sea monsters under the waters. From sightings of supposedly mythical and prehistoric creatures, to real-life unexplained gigantic monsters caught on camera. I'm Charlie, and today we're going to look at the biggest sea monsters in the world. Before we dive into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Ningen. This terrifying creature is said to lurk in the waters of Japan. Ningen is said to be a humanoid life form that lives underwater. Over the past few decades, there have been many reported sightings of it off the coast of Japan. It was first discovered in 2004 by whale researchers. And in 2010, there was a ningen caught on camera. This was caught by the Japanese Agency for Marine, Earth, Science and Technology. The camera doesn't really do it justice, but it's a gigantic creature. It's the same size as a blue whale, which is the largest sea creature in the world. The creature's eyes and mouth make it look quite playful, but they are said to be incredibly dangerous to humans. When the video was released, some said it may just be a whale, but there is no species of whale that looks anything like this. Leviathan. The Leviathan is said to be a sea creature 40 feet long. It's been mentioned many times in historic scrolls. It's also featured in the Bible and in Asian religion. In all of these scrolls, this creature is called the embodiment of evil. Leviathans are so big that they appear to be supernatural beings. But whatever you think about the Leviathans, they are terrifying creatures. The Bloop. The Bloop is an incredibly large, mysterious sea creature. But there are various theories about the Bloop. It's often identified by people at sea because it makes a loud blooping noise. They also claim to see a gigantic outline of a creature under the water making this sound. However, some say this could just be the sound of the ice shelf breaking in Antarctica. But many say they've seen the bloop in person, and they believe the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration don't want us to know about it. The bloop has been described as looking like a gigantic squid. It's said to live right by the ocean floor, but as I said before, most of the ocean floor has not been explored, so we don't know if it's there or not. Ghost squid. There's not much out in the ocean, but one thing you will find is oil refineries. There are many oil refineries set up in oceans around the world. Well, a few years back, Shell released a bizarre video from one of their ocean oil refineries. The footage is from 2008 and comes from one of their cameras right by the sea floor. The camera, which is there so they can check out their machinery without going underwater, captured this gigantic ghost squid. It was nicknamed a ghost squid as it seems to be transparent. It's got gigantic tentacles which go right down to the sea floor. This was caught around 200 miles off the coast of Texas, USA. Some said this was alien life seen underwater. But one thing's for sure, this ocean monster is absolutely gigantic. Megalodon. Megalodons, also known as Megs, are said to be the biggest and scariest sea monsters out there. It's a relative of the great white shark. Only Megalodons are about 10 times as large. Check out this size comparison I made and you can see the scale of this thing. They can grow up to 198 feet long. Their prey includes whales, dolphins, sharks and giant sea turtles. Various Megalodon videos have been seen online, but the most convincing one I've seen is from 2006. Some aquatic researchers were researching the ocean's floor. That's when, at over 3,300 feet, they saw an oversized shark. The two red dots you see are lasers, which are used to estimate its size. They worked out that the size is indeed that of a potential megalodon. Many years back, a fisherman also caught a megalodon jumping out of the sea at night. Amazingly, the megalodon was caught hunting a whale. I'm not sure what this is, but no other creature could hunt a whale like that. So it really does seem like megalodons are our only option here. Dacosaurus. During the Jurassic period, this was one of the top underwater predators. Fossils of it were first discovered in Germany, and it kind of resembles a cross between a reptile and a fish. Fossils have since been found all over the world, for example in the UK, Russia and Argentina. It has incredibly scary teeth and was 16 feet long. Giant octopus. It's said that in oceans around the world there were giant octopuses many years ago. They were said to pull ships underwater with their gigantic tentacles, and they would reach lengths of 40 feet long. The stories of these creatures mainly take place in the 1700s and the 1800s. That's when trade with ships was reaching its peak. People truly believe these exist because large tentacles and carcasses have been washed up on beaches, and in the 17 and 1800s, these were sailors' worst nightmares. Kraken. The Kraken is a sea monster shrouded in mystery. It's been written about in mythology and by historians too. It's said to be a gigantic squid which lives near the ocean floor, and it was capable of sinking ships. It's also been featured in popular books, for example 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Some researchers say it may be a cross between a Pacific octopus and a giant squid. Jormungandr. Jormungandr first appeared in Norse mythology. It's said to be one of the children of Loki, and it's described like a gigantic sea snake. This underwater serpentine scares absolutely anyone who comes across it. In stories, the sea monster even bites off its own tail. It does this to symbolize its own mortality, saying that you can't stop it no matter what. It's said the blood of this creature is actually poisonous. This means if any other creature tries to bite it, that creature will pass away. Syrian Cronin. You may have thought the scariest sea monster of Scotland is the Loch Ness Monster. But the Syrian Cronin will give the Loch Ness Monster a run for its money. It's located in the seas of northern Scotland, and it's an underwater dinosaur. It's said to be able to change itself from a minnow to a gigantic sea monster. It's said to be so large that it can eat 7 whales at once. Hydra of Lerna. This creature is heavily featured in Greek mythology. According to legend, if the creature's head is severed, it will grow 2 more. This creature was an enemy of Hercules and is said to guard the underworld. Much like the Jormungandr, it's said to have poisonous blood. This would make all of the fish it shared an ocean with inedible. There's also a constellation in space named after Hydra of Lerna. Shastasaurus. This creature dates back to 200 million years ago. It was alive during the Triassic period. It looks similar to how a dolphin does today, only it was much more vicious and also much larger. As you can see in this size comparison I made, it was over 65 feet long. Just imagine running into this when you were sailing in a boat or swimming in the sea. You'd probably be scared, but you wouldn't have to worry much. That's because this creature was a suction feeder. This means it fed mostly on fish. Thalassumedon. Thalassumedon is Greek for Sea Lord. This sea monster is known for its big flippers. It also could grow up to 40 feet in length. Thanks to its 7-foot flippers, it could swim in deep waters. This would make it a predator for pretty much every other creature in the sea. It was alive during the Cretaceous period, but when new and even larger predators took over, it became extinct. But now it's time to make your voice heard. Comment below which sea monster was scarier.